Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing Puzzle Rush. Puzzle Rush is a feature that chess.com offers where the puzzles get progressively harder and harder as you do them. And if you get 3 wrong, you're out. So it counts how many you've done consecutively, 3 strikes, and you're out. So let's get started. So it's black to move here. This is a pretty simple back rank mate issue where if I take the rook, bishop takes, rook takes with a dirty check, the king has 3 pawns in front of him. He'll have to back up with the queen. I'll take the queen, and that's checkmate. So just like that, and that's checkmate. Okay, here we have white to move. So this pawn is very close to becoming a queen. If I give a check, the king will have to move, and then I'll promote. Okay, simple enough. To me, my king, yes, is in danger, but this rook looks like a free piece because it comes with check. After I take, the king can go here, or it can go here. So I need to think about that. I think I see the idea. If I take the rook and the king comes here, I'll give another check with the rook, king takes, and then I can slide my rook for checkmate. Let's go do it. And it doesn't matter that I'm losing the bishop, because ultimately that would end in checkmate. This one looks like a very similar one that we saw in the first one, where I can simply go here and checkmate the enemy king. And this is also a very similar one. I'll just move my queen over here. The knight can move, but I'll just take it. The queen can move, I'll just take it. And the king is stuck behind these 3 pawns. So it is a pretty important concept when you reach endgames to give your king an escape square. Usually this involves moving a pawn or moving your king so that your king can get out. Back rank mates are very upsetting, especially considering otherwise the opponent would have won, if not for that. Here, this looks like a simple checkmate pattern. You have a pawn over here. My queen can get over here pretty easily. After the queen goes here, if the king moves, I have checkmate. Queen can block, I'll take the queen and then mate. So there's really nothing stopping that. Good. Now this is pretty similar to the back rank checkmate that we covered, except now this involves a little bit of finesse on our side. This is going to involve a queen sacrifice, where I take the pawn here with check. The king will have to move. The king can't take it because it is protected by the rook. And after the king moves, I'm going to sacrifice my queen by putting it on that rank. After rook takes is checkmate, and the king is stuck in the corner. This is pretty much the same thing that we just covered. The queen will go here, king will go here, sacrifice the queen, rook takes, and then rook takes is checkmate. In this position, the king is in a very vulnerable spot. I can give a check here, and the only thing that white can do is block the check with the bishop, and I'll simply take it. And then because of this rook, it's actually checkmate. Very nice. This looks like a simple checkmate in 2 moves, with queen here check, and no matter if the king goes here or here, taking this pawn will lead to checkmate. This is very similar. We'll just go here and sacrifice the queen for a back rank mate. Okay. This looks like a pretty simple checkmate in 2. Just move the queen here. Bishop will block, and I can take the bishop because the knight is guarding that queen. There we go. This is checkmate here. The pawn, if I move my knight there, the pawn can't take back because the queen is pinning. So this is simply checkmate. Moving the rook here looks pretty good. I think that's just checkmate. The king can't go anywhere. This is guarded by the bishop, and the bishop is also going to protect that rook. Very good. This is a nice pattern when you have 2 rooks on the 2nd or 7th rank. Basically, it's to give check. King will go here, check, king will go back, and then you swing the other rook in and kind of suffocate the king along that last rank. So check, takes, and it would be checkmate to follow. This one looks interesting. Let me think about this here for a moment. So two things come to mind. One, this king is pretty vulnerable, right? This is also a free bishop. I could take the bishop. I don't want to go here because of bishop takes, and then I really don't have too much. But I could take the bishop here, and then it's hard for black to do anything because I could just follow it up with moving the rook here. So I think I'm just going to do it. There we go. This looks like checkmate here with the pawn. The rook is guarding this side, rook is guarding there. So this is just checkmate. All right, this is a nice position. I think it's going to be queen here, check. Queen will block. It's the only legal move. And then I'm going to swing my rook up. Rook takes. And then the other rook taking will be checkmate. The queen cannot go back because the queen will be pinned. So it looks like I'm hanging my queen, but there's always these checks to not allow my queen being captured. And this is mate. This just looks like checkmate here, moving the queen there. So I'm going to do it. My idea in this position is to capture the rook. After the rook captures, the king or bishop may capture. If the king captures, bishop here with check wins me a bishop. So bishop takes is the only logical move. I'm going to play bishop here. And then this pawn is going to run away. So I think that's the idea. Okay, that's just a free bishop. I'll happily take it. This move looks like checkmate because it's guarded by the rook and the king has nowhere to go. Interesting position. I am looking at this move here with the pawn push. If the pawn pushes and the king goes here, I do have this move, which is pretty nice. If the king goes down, I have queen takes. So I don't really need to calculate anything further. I do know that I have to be very aggressive because I'm in danger of getting checkmated by like white going here with check. I move the king and this is mate. So I need to be pretty active, and I think I can. But let me think about this one more time. If I go here and the king goes there, that's one move I didn't consider, but I have this move here. So I think I am completely winning here by there. Okay, good. It's good that I thought about it because that's the move that he played. This, and now I'm going to bring my queen down, and that's checkmate, I believe. Here, this is a simple checkmate. I'm just going to... Oh, never mind. I'm in check. I didn't even realize. Okay, so if I can safely get out of checkmate, it's very hard for black to stop that checkmate. What if I block it here? If I don't block it, like if I move here or whatever, he can just check me again. So I think blocking it is definitely the way to go because I don't see any checks after that other than the queen just taking it. And then after king takes, there are no more checks and there's no way for that to be stopped. Okay, I'm just going to take the queen. Okay, he moves the rook, which temporarily stops it, sure. But check, king will go here, and then this has to be good after something like check, king goes down, and I slide the rook over. So let's do that. Okay, fantastic. Let me think about this one here. I think I see it here. It's rook all the way up. The bishop has to go back. And then we sacrifice the rook. We take the bishop, king takes, and then queen all the way up is checkmate. And then this is mate. I think here I'm going to sacrifice the queen. Queen takes rook, king takes, check. The king will have to go up either here or here. And then I'm going to swing my rook up. The king will have to come down, either here or back here. And I'm going to bring in my other rook into the action. And because of the placement of these pawns, it's going to stop the king from moving anywhere. So this is deadly here. And now slide the other rook, and it is checkmate. Okay, in this position, I believe the correct answer is moving the queen to the side to give a check. And then, if they block with the pawn, capture with my knight. The reason being, this pawn here is pinned. If the pawn takes, queen takes rook. If queen goes here and the king goes down, this cannot possibly be good because of queen here check. Queen here check, king here, this could lead to some discoveries with like knight here or something like that. Okay, we'll follow up with my plan of knight takes and take the rook. All right, here we have a king and pawn endgame. It looks to me that I need to get the opposition, meaning place my king in front of his king. The goal is to advance one of my pawns, but I cannot do it right away, right? If I go here, he takes. If I go here, he takes. And if I go here, he takes. So the pawn is not going to move right now. The only logical move to do with the king is to put him right in front of the other king, like that. Now, because he's going away, I can outflank him now and go this way and collect this pawn and then lead this way here. And I don't think black is in time to do anything here. So let's calculate this. If I go here, he goes here, here, capture, capture. He pushes the pawn, I push the pawn, he pushes the pawn, push the pawn, push the pawn, queen. And then if he goes here, I can slide my queen and stop him from checkmating. So I am much faster in this position. So let's go do it. There we go. That was a fun one. Required some calculation. After you get to number 25, you've gone a bit beyond the basics in the tactics, like simple back rank checkmates or checkmate in one turn. Once you get to move 25 and plus, you really have to start thinking about deeper concepts and calculating and things like that. I mean, of course, you should always be thinking about these things, but especially when you get to the higher numbers. So let's see how far I can go here. So I'm thinking here that this bishop is pretty vulnerable. There is a queen on that same line. If I were to take that knight, it opens up my queen on this undefended bishop. So by taking the knight, I really don't see what black can do to retain any pieces. So I'm going to take it and then grab the bishop. Okay, he's attacking my queen, but I can simply move my queen back to where it was, and I don't see any issues with that. There we go. In this position, it looks like I need to put this pressure on this diagonal to push the king in the corner and then checkmate on the back rank. So if I go bishop here check, of course the bishop can block, but then I take, king moves, and then I grab the rook. So that's not really a good option for white. If I go here check, the king moves, this is just checkmate. So yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Here, here, and I guess a lot of beginners will not even think that wouldn't even think that this rook is now defending. So they would instinctively capture the bishop, but then the rook would capture it. And then black would be in pretty big trouble. Here, we just simply take the rook, and we're threatening to take here next. This is a check, and we have just one legal move to play, and that's here, and we're in no danger at all. Okay. The move that's screaming to me to be played is queen takes here check. I didn't even think about anything else. But after queen check, the king is going to lose the connection of that rook somehow, which could help me. So in other words, if the king goes here, nothing's stopping me from taking that rook. So he's not going to do that. He's going to go here to maintain this connection from that other rook. So after this, king goes here, And then I should be able to play a move like this check, picking up a bishop. No, I'd be able to pick up the rook because now I'm adding another attacker to that rook. So here, check. If he blocks me, I have a rook to capture. And if he comes up here, it's just checkmate. That has to be it. I am a little bit nervous about my king because the queen and rook are looking down, but there's no immediate attack. So I have this here, and I think I'm going to go with my plan of moving the queen over there. Okay, and now this is just picking up a piece. Rook takes, and then I would be able to take back with the queen. Here, this looks like it's almost a checkmate, but the thing is I'm in check. So if I can get out of check in such a way where he can't give me another check, then I can just checkmate him. That's the idea. And there's also a checkmate threat over here. So let's think about the best approach. I don't think it's to go here because the queen can simply take it and it's defended by the bishop. So to me, it looks like it's going to have to be some sort of king movement. Now, where could I move the king? Could I move the king here? That's a good first guess. And I actually think I could. Normally, it's a bit scary because of this diagonal, but I just don't see a way for black to attack that diagonal in any way. If I go anywhere else, right, this could open the door for some checks. And I'd rather not have any checks. Even here, the queen can come back up. So let's go here. And that's the correct move. So over here, it looks like the queen is exposed, but I'm looking for something else. And I think I have this. Queen goes down with check. The rook has to block, and then I take the rook. There we go. And with that, we're on 32. So we've made some pretty good progress. Let's keep going. This almost looks like a free knight, but it is defended by the other knight. So I don't want to be silly. What if I invade this way with the queen? This bishop is doing a great job at guarding that diagonal. Isn't this just checkmate? I think it is. I really don't see anywhere that the king can go. The rook is blocking this line, bishop blocking this line, and queen here. And there's nowhere for white to defend that. So let's put that queen where it belongs. Okay. Now we are on move 33. Where I think technically we're on move 34. If we solve it, we'll be on 35. Okay. So we don't have a queen. One thing that jumps to my mind is this check, and then the king would go to the corner. But the question is then what? Right? You always have to think of a follow-up. The goal of chess is not to give check, it's to give checkmate. So let me think about this here, of what is the best thing to do. I feel like one of the only ways to make progress is to give this check. And then after the king goes to the corner, this might work, bringing the knight down to threaten this. But no, it's a bit too slow because the rook can come in to defend. So let's think here. Rook here, king to the corner, then what? Actually don't know. So this is the first time I have to stop and think here. Being down a queen sucks. It's never fun. I'm going to start with just this check. Sometimes when you don't know what to do, starting with the most forceful move can help turn things in the right direction here. Okay, the question is, now what? Oh, I was right. It is bringing the knight back here, because if the rook protects, knight takes, rook takes. And that looks pretty good to me. I think that's the correct solution. I don't see any other move. I'm going to do it. Here we go. And now we go here. Oh no! We got our first one wrong. I'll be sure to review that one after. I was too fast. I had the first move, but not the follow-up correct. But that's okay. It's a learning experience. But I can't let that get me tilted and play fast here. I have to slow down. So one thing that I'm thinking of here is to go here with the idea of putting pressure on that rook, but most importantly, being able to take with the bishop and forming a little battery on this diagonal. So I think that's the idea. Yep, let's go here and take back. And here I think I can pick up the knight in that move order. So let's do it. There we go. All right, my idea is to give a check. And then if the rook goes back, this is a nice check. The king will have to go away, and then I take the rook. Thankfully, my pawn's here, stopping the queen from coming back here. So I think that's the idea. From here? Oh, I'm a dummy. I'm in check. Okay, so let's just switch things up. Let's take here first. It comes with check. The king goes to the corner, then we come here and take the rook. Pretty simple. All right. Not too bad. So I'm pinned right now, so I cannot go here because of this. So what if I push instead? That looks pretty good. And then I take. Simple enough. All right, we're on move 37. It's good that we didn't get too tilted after that one wrong move on the 1810. I will look at that when I am done. I'll look at all of my wrong ones. This move is interesting, bringing the queen up because it does guard against this square here, restricting the king's mobility a bit. Then the king will have to come up, and then this just seems to be checkmate. Boom. And boom. And that's mate. Okay. All right, so I have a knight and a rook. My opponent has a queen. I like the positioning of the rook, cutting off the king here. The knight could potentially go here at some point and hit the queen, and also come a little bit closer to the king. I am also observing this pawn can come here. Out of all the moves, this seems the most forcing, right? This can just lead to a capture and not really... Actually, hold on here. If I can lure the king over here, this is a fork. That is something to keep in mind. Let's just say I go here, right? He only has one move to come here. And then I don't quite see a good follow-up. What if I go here? Because that's an interesting idea. Pawn takes, and pawn takes back. The king cannot take back because of the fork that I mentioned. But the king can go here, and then I don't really see a good response to that. And starting from here is bad because of queen takes. So if I move my pawn here, let's revisit that idea. The king goes here, then what do I do? Well, maybe I inch a little bit closer with my king. This rook is doing a great job at restricting the mobility here. And then this threat is pretty much unstoppable. I think that's the solution. Go here, check, king here, bring the king up, and then this threat is unstoppable because after pawn takes, I think we're just looking at a checkmate because this pawn is guarding that. All right, let's go for it. Here, here, I'm correct. I could take the queen, but I'd rather not. Actually, I have to at this point. I can't continue with my plan because after pawn takes, I cannot take back because I'm pinned. So I have to take the queen. But being up a knight, that's really good for me. All right, what on earth is going on here? Black has two queens. I have one queen, a knight, and a king. So I cannot take the queen because it'll just be a draw due to insufficient material. I'd rather not have that. I'd rather checkmate the king with what I have. This is a very interesting position. I think the first move. Actually, there's a few things to consider, right? There's knight here, and there's queen here. Those are really the only checks in the position to consider. Or this, right? So there's 4 moves. I think I can rule out any sort of queen moves because that just gives the king an escape, right? The king can just come here, and that doesn't do a whole lot for me. Here, the king can escape. I like the queen where it's at because it is guarding a lot of the king's escape squares. So I think the idea is to bring my knight into the game. The king's a little bit too far out of the action. I think it has to do with the knight and the queen to checkmate the king. So let's think about it. If I go here, check, the king's not going to go to the corner because this is going to result in checkmate. Because then the queen will have to block and I'll take the queen. So if here, the king must come this way, and then this is actually just checkmate. So I think I'm correct. I think the right move is here to give a check with the knight. The king will have to move somewhere, and then it's just going to be a simple checkmate in just a few moves. Here, check, and checkmate. There we go. All right. I am on move number 40. Okay. A couple of things are coming to my attention. 1, the king is very vulnerable. 2, the rook is hanging. I think the king being vulnerable is more important than taking a free rook. I think I have to be very forceful here. Because my king is also pretty exposed, right? If I take the rook, then black can come in and start giving me checks and harassing me, and I think I have to be a lot faster in this position. So I'm not going to take the rook. I'm going to focus on checkmating the king. And the move that comes to my attention is queen here and also pawn here. Pawn here right away doesn't work because of the queen. So if I go here, the king has to go here. And then what? That's a good question. I could play this pawn or this pawn. Or, I don't know. I'll have to think about it for a sec. Yeah, I think we're going to have to start with this move. Okay, the follow-up here is a bit tricky, but I think it's going to be this pawn. This pawn with check, the king will move, and then I could bring in my bishop back, and I think that's good enough for mate. Yes, it is. Because if I move this pawn, it gives the king an escape here. So the bishop is the idea. Okay, we're on move 41. Let's keep going. So what's screaming at me to be played is this pawn push. And then the king will go here. And I do have a potential fork, but is that really the idea of this this puzzle? I don't know. What else could I do? This is really the only check in the position worth considering. So I may just play it and see what he does next. Okay, he goes there. Now, do I give him a fork and pick this up? I don't think so, because, look, I'm already down a rook. I don't think picking up this rook is the solution. I think the solution has to do with me checkmating him. And I think it's better for me to go here because that's actually checkmate. Yeah, let's go do it. Great. We've done our 41st puzzle. Now we're on 42. Now what do we have here? There's a battery going on with a queen in front of a bishop. So if I'm not careful, that could be quite annoying after queen captures. His king is pretty wide open, though. Could I do something about it? Well, the craziest move here is to go here with a check the rook would take, so I don't really see a good follow-up to that, so that seems like a pretty dumb idea. But in the same spirit, queen here seems to work. Because after pawn takes, rook all the way up is checkmate. King can't go anywhere. And if the queen blocks, I take it. So I'm going to sacrifice my queen this way. Whenever you have pieces close to the enemy king, always think about what's the craziest move in the position, even if it looks totally wrong. So like in this puzzle, I looked at queen here just because I knew it was wrong, but I wanted to help steer my ideas towards the right move. And that move is definitely here. After this check, pawn takes, and rook all the way up is checkmate. The knight's guarding here, the bishop's guarding here. It would just be checkmate. There we go. All right. Now what do we have? Our bishop here on the left is kind of in La La Land. Our pieces are so... I feel like they're kind of misplaced here. My queen's in a pretty good spot. My rook's in a pretty good spot. My bishop could potentially be in a good spot if these two pawns weren't in the way. Let me think here. I mean, this is tough. There's a reason why it's rated over 2200. It's not easy. Now, one idea that I have is getting the bishop over here for a checkmate. The knight is in the way of that, so what if I sacrifice the rook? And after pawn takes, to follow up with my plan of bishop here and there, is that too slow, or am I just in time for that? If rook takes, pawn takes, there is a check that I could potentially do here, and then bishop, and I think it's a little bit faster because I'm gaining a tempo. And then there's no way for white to do anything about it. This is all forced. Rook takes. White doesn't necessarily have to take back the rook, but I think for the purpose of the puzzle, they will, only because there's really no good alternative. My king is a little bit exposed, but there's no quick checkmate. I think it is a rook sacrifice. I think rook takes the knight is the idea. Pawn takes, give a check, king here, and then bishop here. And then how does white stop that idea? I don't see a way. This bishop is in place of this knight. If it wasn't, then the knight would go here to defend that way. But I think we're good here. So let's go here, check, slide in the bishop. Okay, there is this. I didn't consider it, but I don't think it works because I can simply take back with the queen. And then the mate threat is still on. And I don't see how white can do after that. Okay, there we go. We got it. That was at 2340. Okay, good stuff. In this one, this is tricky. I have good piece placement of my bishop, queen, rook, but so does my opponent. This rook is on a great square. This pawn's one square close to promotion. This bishop is on a really nice diagonal. And the queen is a little bit offside, but with just a few moves like here, it can threaten mate. So I need to be pretty quick here with my ideas. So what could I do? What's the craziest move that I could do, right? The craziest move would be, of course, sacrificing the queen. But after king takes, I don't see the follow-up. This is a tough one. There's also potential queen goes here, queen takes here, king takes. I don't see a follow-up to that either. And material-wise, it looks like I'm down two pieces. Well, I'm up. I'm actually, yeah, I'm just down two pieces, aren't I? Yeah. So I need to be super aggressive here. But how? How do I do that? If I go here, right? Threatening. It's too slow. I can't. This pawn is. This is the threat. Queen coming here. Check. King to the corner. Queen up. That's pretty bad. So sometimes when you don't know what to do, it's helpful to look at each piece and seeing what kind of forcing moves you can do. Do I need to cover this, or can I be a little bit more aggressive? This move forces a queen to take back, or the knight taking back for that instance. And there's really nothing I could do after that. What if I sacrifice my queen here? That forces the king to take. I think I may be onto something here. I think, call me crazy, but I think I'm onto something here. If queen takes the bishop and king takes, bishop here looks pretty strong. The king will have to go back, and then the rook can come all the way up. I think that's the idea. And I think it's more forcing, because if I just go here like to set it up, then that is really annoying. But this, the king has to respond to that check. King will take the queen, and then I have a check. This bishop move is pretty powerful. And then I could slide the rook up. I think that's the idea. Here. And now slide the rook up. And I think this is just checkmate. There we go. 23-83. We got it. All right. Now we have this puzzle where it's black to move. And this is a very confusing position. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty confusing. What is going on here? The bishop is threatening to take one of these two pawns. Could I actually give a check here? The king moves. And then I could go down because the pawn can't take because of the pin. That might be a good idea. And it's all forced too. So if I move the pawn here, the king goes here, rook goes here. I think that's just checkmate. The pawn cannot recapture because it's pinned. There we go. 45 puzzles in the books. All right. I'm in check right now. I could easily get out of check by just capturing the queen, right? I mean, what else is going on here? I think that's all there is to it. What am I missing? For such a high-ranked puzzle, like, what? Is it just simply to capture the queen? I'm gonna do it because that's the most logical move. What? That was a 24-58. That makes no sense. Probably it trips people out. People are looking for like a weirder move or more creative move. No, it's simply to take the queen with the pawn. Okay. So I have here my queen on a nice path for the king. I think the goal of this, because there's a lot of pieces near my king, I'm pretty scared about that. I'm going to try to checkmate the enemy king. And I think it's going to start with this move. Because if I go here, the king can maybe escape. Actually, let me think about this. I don't think the king can escape because I would just go back. And then the king has to go back. And then I go here with the check. Going here looks like it's defending more squares here, but I think this allows for the escape. Because I think the king can come in here. So to stop that, this move first. But what if the king comes? It's actually not stopping that. What am I saying? Here, here. And then if like a check, king goes here, and then I have nothing. And then I'm screwed over here. Queen takes bishop, and then queen takes pawn is a disaster for me. All right, so let me actually revisit this idea of bringing the queen to the last rank. Check. The king must come down. Aha, and then check. And then if king goes here, then I slide my queen over one square. King goes here. I'm not convinced. There has to be something better. It's got to be this check or this check as my first move. The question is what, though? What if I go here? King goes here. It's not convincing. This check, king goes here. Then what? Then maybe another check. Maybe no. Wait. Almost. Here, here. Not there because of the queen. But what if I come in this way? No, that doesn't really accomplish what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to go for this at this point. Okay, I'm correct. It is there. That was probably a risky idea. I should have calculated further. But I think it was pretty clear that I had to go there. Now at this position, I could swing in my knight, but my concern is this. Queen here, king here, and then I have nothing. So I need to be careful. This is no good because of the queen. Check, king goes here. That's where I was struggling. I don't know. This can't be good. Ooh, it's correct. Okay. Sometimes I can stumble into the correct answer. Not ideal, but in this position, you just have to play powerfully. My main concern with this is after queen here, after king there, I don't know what to do next. Oh. Well, now I have a knight that can go there. And the king would go here, though. This is getting crazy. What if I think I do go here first. And now I bring in my knight. But then the king goes in the corner. This is annoying. Oh, I go this way with the knight. Yes, I go this way with the knight because if king here, then this is mate. So the king's not going to go there. If the king goes somewhere else, then I have a discovery. Here, there maybe. And if there, then I can bring in my bishop. So I think it has to be this. Now I have a discovery. The question is which discovery is best? I think there's only one answer to that, and it's bringing the knight this way. Okay, I stumbled my way into solving a 2549. I'll take it. All right. Puzzle number 48. This one is sort of tricky. At first, I'm thinking like, okay, there's a little annoying idea of queen there to block it. Okay, but bishop takes, and it's not that good for me. Do I have any checks in this position? I actually do. This check looks pretty no, because the bishop can take. That's not a powerful idea. I don't really see any other good checks. So I think the idea is to go here and kind of see what they do next. So yeah, let's go there. All right, now the queen is attacking my queen. Here, let's think. I could take, and then if king takes, I take this bishop. No, but then rook takes. Not correct. So what else could I do? Not so obvious. I think the move is to take the bishop. I think that's the idea. Hold on a second. I'm already down a piece. So taking the bishop is kind of weak. There's got to be something better. What if I take, force the king to capture? Do I have any cool ideas? I don't think so. No, it was worth it. It was worth a thought. I did like this idea of the pin in the beginning, but the bishop can simply take it. So that is not ideal. If I take the bishop, the bishop just might take this one. Then I'm kind of back to square one. I don't think it's to do that. It might be to capture this bishop. That might be the answer, but I'm not totally convinced at this point. But I really don't see what else to do, so I'm just going to do it. Oh, I'm right. Let's go. And is it really now to take that bishop, or do I have anything better? If I just take the bishop, we're going to have kind of an equal game. So I'm inclined to think that there is something better. I just don't know what. I mean, I do have a bunch of more pawns. I could potentially say that, hey, this is my advantage. I'm going to be up 3 pawns. That actually might be it. All right, I'm going to do it. There we go. We just solved a 2586 puzzle. All right, here we're in an interesting spot. I think the idea is to unlock this idea, right? And to do that is to move the knight out of the way, like to come here and hit the queen. And then how do you stop both threats? Well, you could move the knight that way, which is actually a pretty good move. So what if I do something else? I could potentially take the knight and king takes. I have a discovery, such as this. It's a double check. The king would have to move. Could that potentially lead to mate? I don't know. I'll have to think about it. So queen takes, king takes. There's 2 checks. I have this check, which actually may be a little bit more interesting. The king will have to move. I'm not totally convinced about this. But it's an interesting thought practice to take king takes and then do something to get a checkmate somehow. The problem is if like knight here, the king can just come up here. And then I don't really have a good follow-up except taking the queen and then rook takes, and then it's just a fancy way to trade. So I'd rather not do that. I did like the idea. My first gut was to move the knight over there, hit the queen, and then... But then the queen can come over here. No, the queen cannot come over there because of the bishop. Right, the counter to that was this move here with the knight, hitting back my queen. Which was a bit annoying to deal with. Yeah. It's a tough move to follow. Really trying on this one. Really trying to make it work. I think it's going to be a queen sacrifice. And then after king takes to do something. But I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, I don't know if it's taking it. Oh, hold on a second. I think I found it. Queen takes, king takes, check. And then if here I have this idea, and that is checkmate. Yes, let's do it. Now I feel more confident about it. Now this is checkmate. That was a nice idea. Sometimes these crazy ideas, they work. You just really have to think deeper into making it work. Okay, that was a tough one. All right, what do we have here? If we get this right, we've got to 50, which is pretty impressive. It's pretty up there onto one of my top ones. So I'm glad to get this recorded. I wasn't expecting to go this far. Let's see here. I have two possible checks that look appealing. There's this, and there's that. There's pieces that can block, so I'm going to rule that out just for the time being, because this check looks kind of nice. This check, then the king, let's say, goes here, then I can even come down with mate, so that's good. What if the king goes here? Then I would just come this way. I think this is just a clean-cut win. All right, the king comes here, which is a little bit different from what I was expecting, but now I can force him to move away with the knight. And then the king will have to come here, and then I follow it up by like going here or something like that. So there, and then here, and then we take. Great. 50. Done. In the books. Let's go. All right, here looks pretty interesting. If I take, check, take, I'm getting hit with the back rank mate. So I need to worry about this for a little bit. On the contrary, the bishop is under attack. Not really on the contrary, but something else to think about. What if I just make a move like this and threaten that and then threaten the bishop? Is that sufficient? Could be. It gets out of dodge also from the bishop. Okay, I'm thinking to do it. Might be wrong though, but I'm gonna do it. It's wrong. Okay, whatever. I don't know if I have it in me to go beyond 50. We'll try. We'll try to get to 51. The knight is doing a great job at stopping these pawns. I think the only plan is to push. And then we come in here. And then this way. And this way. And then we get a queen. Yes. Got it. Now I don't know what to do here. The king is a bit exposed, but my pieces aren't really directly attacking it. I could go here and threaten that, but that's kind of slow because here. But then I can swing in my rook. Okay, let's do it. There. Okay. This doesn't work because queen takes. So what else could I do? Maybe I go rook here now. And then takes. All right. That was a 28-45. That's pretty good. Now, in this position, my king is very exposed, right? So the black queen can come here and really hurt me. But at the same time, black's king is also exposed, so I could potentially go here and hurt him too. So it's a two-way street a little bit. But that just means I have to be super aggressive with my moves. This is a good starting point, this check. The king can't move because this is just mate. So here, blocking would be dumb. I would just take it. So here, pawn takes. I need to be a little bit careful after I take here. I don't want to go after the rook just because of the reason I mentioned before with my queen, with his queen attacking my king. So let's think here. Bishop takes, pawn takes with check. What if the king just goes back? Well, then this is mate, so he can't. So it takes, boom, boom, there. Then this check is going to look pretty nice. I think that's the approach. There. No! I got him wrong. All right, that was my all-time number 2. I'm pretty happy about that. Let's take a look at the ones that I got wrong. Starting off with this 1810 problem. Okay, this one I got wrong. Let's see what's going on here. Let's start off with the first puzzle that I got wrong. So I think play problem. Okay, I think we went for this. And where was the mistake? I think I went for this. And then I took, and that was where I got wrong. So it was not to take? I thought taking for sure was the solution, because after this, we bring back this rook for mate. But here, no, this has to be it. It was the follow-up that I got wrong? I'm a bit confused. How is this not just mate? Okay, I got it wrong. I must have misclicked something. I think that was my idea. I just misclicked it. All right. The next puzzle I got wrong was this one. The next puzzle that I got wrong was this one. So let's see here. I think I got the first... No, I got this move totally wrong. I don't think that was the right idea. Right? This was just wrong. That was my move. My other candidate move was to take, and that's correct. I didn't want back rank problems, though. But maybe I wouldn't get it, because just takes and then I win the bishop. Yeah, it was to win the bishop at the end of the line. Okay. And finally, we have this one that I really had no idea what to do. So takes was the right idea, but not taking here. That was wrong. Instead, if I go here and king here, then this is just mate. There we go. All right, everyone. Hope that was instructive. That was a lot of fun. Glad I got to my personal all-time number 2. Thanks so much for watching and have a good day.